In 1988, he was the second overall draft pick in the NFL draft. The first pick in the draft was Troy Aikman, and the third pick was Barry Sanders. For those of you who don't know football, that's like a really big deal. And
Barry who?
And so obviously Tony was, at the top of his game at that time, really in the world. And so, but I know when you first got exposed to Isagenix, you were one of the biggest skeptics we'd ever come across, because you thought you knew it all, right?
Well, I did. Yeah, at that time I thought I knew it all, and I was so skeptical that I was like, the product was, being used around me by other athletes, by other people that were in, CrossFit training sessions or whatever kind of training sessions. They were getting results, but I still was a non-believer. And thank God for my upline, because they kept saying, just get, they weren't my upline at that time, but they were saying, just get the product in your mouth, get the product in your body, and let the product do the talking. And I still resisted, because I felt I had all the answers. I felt if the product was that good, it would be in every store, every retail store. And finally, I caved in and I said, you know what, I'll try the product. And 21 days later, doing the product half-heartedly, I had 4 days in a row where I just felt fantastic. And that hadn't happened probably in 15 years. I'd had good days, then you'd have average days, but I had 4 great days in a row. Training, just well-being. And well-being is a tough one to describe because it's a non-tangible. How do you describe well-being? I mean, I feel great, because well-being is not just energy, because I feel great energy, but I feel better just overall as far as my body goes. So I thought to myself, if I apply this 80, 90% or 100% of their guidelines and take it the way they suggest, what would the results be? And the results, for me, happened fast. At the end of 2 months, it was off the charts with, I lost 27 pounds, and that was the least impressive thing that it had done for me. The energy that it gave me, the well-being, the recovery in the gym, the endurance, the fact that at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, if I'm doing a photo shoot or if I'm working at the computer, I'm not nodding. And all these things all these side effects. I stopped drinking diet soda at 2 months, with no intention, I was drinking 3, 4, or 5 cups of coffee a day, and now I'm like a half a cup every 3 or 4 days just to get the taste. But as far as the performance part of it, it has taken me back to what I would say, I'm 47 now, when I was 39, 40 years old, it's taken me back about 10 years, and I've only been on the product 8 months. Wow. So I've done stuff in the last year at the gym, personal stuff, records and stuff, that I keep account of, that I haven't done since I was 39 or 40 years old. And to me, the only thing I changed was Isagenix.
And you just went 2-star golden circle.
Yes. Yeah, we went, as David had mentioned, I was like, we started getting money, right? And I was like, you have an uncle in Nigeria who needs 3 grand so you can get 18 million, right? So I was like, okay, what is this? So we fell into the business. And for the last 20 years, people have been coming up to me, as I'm sure these other great athletes, coming up in the gym and saying, what do you do for pre-workout? What do you do for post-workout protein? What do you do for aminos? What do you do for this? And I always used to say, well, I take, ABC protein and I get it at this store. And I was sending people to these stores for the last 20 years. And then now, I'm at the gym and people say, well, what do you take? And I tell them, what I take. And I always have a packet of Isoline Pro, because that's my most important shake of the day, is the one as soon as I get done working out, I get those BCAAs and that protein in my system. And so now I tell them, I take Isagenix, and they're like, well, how do you get it? And I tell them, and it's just a natural organic, it's been a natural organic growth. And I think that people see a huge change in me. They're like, how come you're not as, well, what they say is I'm much more approachable. So I didn't realize that Ionic Supreme had such power, right, to kind of chill me out. So not only am I happy, but apparently a lot of other people are happy. So
that's awesome.
It's the best product.
Let's hear it for Tony.